The main part is, listen to what he says, he shall also clear away the nations before you. But notice that him clearing them away still required them to do something. This is an important connection, because if you're coming out of mainstream Christianity, if you're coming out of that church mindset, you've been taught that he does everything, you don't have to do anything. So here he starts out by saying, he shall also clear away many nations before you. And then verse 2 tells you, by you smiting them and putting them under the ban completely. So you have your part. What favor are you trying to show somebody at the expense of the covenant you have with him? Remember, when he's giving these instructions, Deuteronomy 7, and he says, you will go and smite them and put them under the ban completely, that falls under the covenant that says, when I say it, you do it. No questions, period. That includes the weddings, the funerals, the graduations, and anything else that might come up that you might try to figure out a way to try to justify and spin, even though he said it's Shabbat, it's not time for those things. He's doing these things because in his mind and his heart, was his plan, is to have a people, a treasured possession above all the other nations. And by the way, he's going to then humble them a little bit here in a minute to say, you weren't there so that you could walk around and strut and walk around all full of yourself, but you were to be the envy of the nations and saying, I want what they have. And you were supposed to be able to say, I can show you how you can have it. Instead of saying, well, isn't it great to be me? And I'm sorry, you don't get to be us, we're special. Okay, this is not so that you could walk around all full of yourself and thinking how special you are. These people were at the Jordan ready to cross into the land, and they're long dead. This is thousands of years ago. You, on the other hand, are doing the same thing that they were doing. You are covenanting with the Elohim, and he has called you out of your bondage, your Mitzrayim, your Egypt. You've all had that testimony. You all have that experience. So this is for you, because all of you are looking to do what? Go in and possess. And what are you looking to possess? Same thing they were. The land, the kingdom. But you're looking to possess it in the forever context. This is, again, expression of, oh, that was for them, those Israelites. They were hard-headed, and we're so much smarter than them, and they needed those laws and all that stuff. There's no change anywhere in here. He says, I am Yahweh, I change not. Messiah is referred to as the same yesterday, today, and forever. If they were changing, then we could rely on nothing. With all of this is a wasted exercise, because they could just change it. He has made lots of promises in this book that we read called the Scriptures. Okay, all through the Tanakh, all through the Brit Hadashah, he's made lots of promises, and you can absolutely count on him doing his part of it. And you can also count on you receiving exactly what he said you would, whether good or bad, whether being repaid to your face, or whether receiving the kindness and love through 1,000 generations. And guess what? It's what you do that determines it. So relationally, that's his expression of love. Don't you want to bless people when you love them? When they've done something that's pleasing in your sight, when they've earned favor in your sight, don't you want to do something nice for them? Don't you look for ways to do things for them nice? To bless them? To express your heart towards them? Now, on the other side of it, when they're not listening, this happens a lot with parents with children or spouses, right? When they're not listening and they're not paying attention and they're not showing that respect, etc., you're not thinking of anything to do nice. Matter of fact, you got a whole bunch of curses you'd like to have fall on them. Yahweh's no different. Not from an emotional standpoint. That's the function of relationship. And then what do we have? An entire church founded about 2,000 years ago that doesn't have any heart in them to keep any commandments. They want it all done away with, say it was nailed to the cross, blah, blah, blah. That is not the heart that he's screaming out, oh, that they would have such a heart in them. But they didn't. He said, if they would only have a heart. What's the heart? Love. If they would only love me, if you love me, guard my commands. Please, if you love me, guard my commands, because they will bless you and keep you safe and change you into me. Oh, you're going to come back into covenant. Because it was not obeying his voice that got you scattered in the first place. So let's see, okay. Disobeying Torah, disobeying covenant, breaking covenant, not obeying his voice caused us to be punished and scattered. So the solution is for the Son to come, die, so that we don't have to obey his voice and we don't have to do any covenant and we can just be restored. This is insanity. See, if you don't fear him, you don't guard the commands. Because if you fear mom, dad, brother, whoever you fear more will have more leverage and influence on how you obey. That's when you start to go a little sideways, left or right. Because now you're allowing an influencer to kind of push you in one direction or the other, and you're no longer walking straight. Who's influencing you more? You fear him properly, there's nobody.